Welcome to another video from theplayersaid.com. Today, we're actually going to do kind of like a battle report of our game of Here I Stand. We played with friends of ours, Nate and Mike. He's going to kill me for that.
He is going to kill you.
That's okay.
You play with him online quite a bit.
I know. Shoot me. Mike's one of our patrons and has been for a while. We appreciate him. He's a good friend of ours. And he brought his friend Nate. They came over and we played a 4-player game, Here I Stand. And we played it for...
It was like 12 hours.
About 12 hours.
And we didn't finish. I'm saying that up at the front because we're shooting this video later. I apologize. I just let the cat out of the bag. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's good for them to know.
Yeah.
I believe you're going to see 5 rounds worth of videos.
I think so,
I think it might be... It's 4 or 5.
I think it's 4.
And it was shot kind of in between the different rounds. So enjoy it. We had a blast. We will shoot a review of this in a different video, so you can look at that. We did our initial thoughts with just a
we did the 2-player, which is basically like Holy War.
Yeah,
we did it 2 Christmases ago.
Yes,
and it was a great game, but it was just the Protestants and the
Catholics,
the papacy, and this one's the full game.
Yes. So here's the battle report. See how that is. And enjoy that, and then look up the multiplayer review, which we're going to do with this one as well. So welcome to a battle report of Here I Stand from GMT Games. We've got a 4-player game going on right now, and this is the 500th anniversary edition. And this is at the end of turn 1. This is kind of where we're at. So we have the English up here, unsuccessfully sieged Edinburgh, so they're going to give that another go.
Thanks for rubbing it in.
You're welcome. We've got the French and the Habsburg having kind of a standoff across the Pyrenees. The papacy's just been building up a lot of troops, and they've been trying to do some counter-reformation, which has been not necessarily successful as they wanted to. Luther's been spreading the Protestant word all through central Germany, and he's got a couple more electorates he's trying to uncover. The Ottomans took Belgrade and are looking to be in position to springboard their attack against the Habsburgs, spoiler alert. And then, what else do we have? I think the
colonies and New World.
The colonies, yes. So we had some conquistadors taking out the Aztecs, getting some VPs. The French established a colony, which, as you can see, is no longer on here because it was destroyed in the gain riches phase. And that's kind of where we stand at this point. Turn 2. So we just concluded turn 2, and the English were able to successfully assault Edinburgh and take that over, and they've kind of regrouped in the south of London. Whether or not they're going to threaten France is a different question. The French have allied with the Habsburg to de-escalate this fight here, and they've been making some inroads into Milan, trying to kind of bolster some forces here. Who knows what they're going to do in Italy, if anything. There's also a strong military presence here, defending Paris, maybe against the English. The actual Protestant Reformation in Germany is going very well for the Protestant player. They've taken a significant number of the spaces and have all their electorates in place. There was some very significant theological debates that went on. Indeed, they were able to disgrace one of the papal debaters in a papal attack, which was very fun to watch. The papacy is building up large stacks of military units. They allied themselves with Venice to get some of those nice naval units there. And we have the Habsburg who have been stacking in Venice to counter the Ottoman advance at the moment, to try and kind of halt that. The Barbary Pirates event was played, so Barbarossa with a stack of Corsairs came out, and they've linked up with the Ottoman Navy. They did some piracy here in the Barbary coast, and there was a significant naval battle with the Habsburg, who had some English ships on loan. And other than that, the Ottomans are just trying to build more guys and trying to move west. I believe that's kind of where we're at with everything.
So currently the VP totals.
So yeah, currently Papacy and Ottomans have 16 VPs, and everyone else is fairly close here with 14 for the Habsburg and the French, and the English trailed with 13, and then the Protestants have 7 at the moment. But they're poised at some point to get the Schmalkaldic League and kind of get themselves going. So that's where we're at, and we'll see you at the end of turn 3. So this is the end of turn 3, beginning of turn 4. We have the Reformation's breaking out here in England. Grandma's just come out because Henry VIII married Anne Boleyn in the last turn. So we'll get some action on the religious front over here. What was big stacks over here has now gone away. There's a lot of action with the Habsburg pushing into France. So that there's some discussions going on about what to do with that with the French and the English. The Reformation in Germany has kind of taken a step back and been stunted with some fairly strong counter-reformations and book burning from the papacy. Although they're primed to have the Schmalkaldic League at the end of the turn. The papacy has got a decent stranglehold on Italy. They were able to play Master of Italy and pick up a couple bonuses from that. Habsburg were having a riot over here. However, Vienna went into unrest, so that's something else they've got to pay attention to. There was some naval standoff, but the Corsairs did a lot of pirating to some moderate success. And other than that, in the New World, we had a lot of action. The Habsburgs have had some good conquesting. They've taken all of the conquistador VPs, but all the explorations so far have been by France and England have established a couple colonies here, which they're hoping to try and feed some cards to help bolster their hands. So we await a lot of religious action in turn 4 because all the Calvinists came out, and there's a whole bunch of Anglican reformers and debaters as well. What am I looking at?
Victory points.
Oh, the victory points. Well, because it's a 4-player game, the papacy would have won a domination victory, but you can't have it too skewed, so the Habsburg's actually preventing the papacy Habsburg player from winning that way. But the papacy's got a good lead, so we'll probably see some collaboration to try and bring that back down. That's what kind of game it is. So we'll see you at the end of the next round. So here we are at the end of turn 4, beginning of turn 5. We've had some very interesting changes in the board state. So the English have been, they assaulted and took Antwerp, and then they took Brussels as well. And between some combat between Francis I and Charles V, Charles V's stack got kind of reduced somewhat, and then there was a huge combat between Henry VIII and Charles V, and Charles V was almost completely wiped from the field, which was amazing. Some great dice rolling going on. So the Habsburg are in a somewhat precarious position in Central Europe. The Schmalkaldic League got played at the end of turn, just at the end of turn 4-ish. So there's a lot of Protestant political control here. Luther and his buddies trying to clean up all of this unrest to get more victory points. We have the French took somewhat of a beating from Charles V, so they're trying to regroup and make some headway, maybe into Metz and the Ardennes, who knows. Down in Spain, nothing's really happening necessarily. The Ottomans have a bunch of boats and some Corsairs, been doing a little bit of piracy here and there. But mostly they've just been building up some forces, looking to get some military dominance. At the beginning of the turn, however, they did make a deal with the papacy, who ceded them Ravenna, so they picked up a key there, which gives them a foothold in Italy. And I think finally the papal forces tried to do a lot of counter-reformation, which wasn't necessarily very successful this turn. However, Clement VII died, Paul III just came out. He gives them a benefit. They win ties in counter-reformation, so we'll see how that goes for the next turn. We did just have...
I'll still roll 6s.
Yes.
You just have to roll 6.
Yeah, it may be fair now.
In the New World, we had Magellan. He circumnavigated the world with some great modifiers. So the Habsburg picked up a lot of VPs from that. So if you look at the VP track, we've got Ottomans, Papacy, and Habsburg all tied. And close coming up, we've got the French and the English. and we've got the Protestants trying to clear up this unrest to get themselves back into it. So that's where we are, generally speaking, at the beginning of turn 5. We'll see you for the next turn.
So that was the battle report. Sorry to leave you with blue balls that it ended so soon, but it took us a long time.
Well, and it took us a long time because we were newbies at the bigger game.
Yes.
We had played the 2-player, we already said that.
Yes.
And I think we all were relative newbies.
Yes.
In the overall game.
I think they played around, pushed some counters.
So I think a lot of things we did, maybe we would go back on a second play and do differently, and it might change the game a little bit. But
so strategically speaking, maybe. So gameplay wise, everyone had a rulebook.
Yep.
And we did not do all that much negotiation.
We did it first, like I felt the first couple rounds we did, and then later it was like, nope, I'm not negotiating with you.
But I just don't know how long that took compared to other groups, which I would love to hear some statistics on that. How long do your negotiations take? Do you have a 10-minute time limit? I feel like we didn't take all that long.
5 to 10 minutes is generally what we were doing.
And I felt like, as we played the game, we played it probably as quickly as we could have played it.
Yeah.
It was my turn, I did my stuff.
And I kind of had an idea of my cards. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I would change it when things changed, but
I felt like we were all experienced wargamers, and we all knew what we were doing, generally, like at least from a concept standpoint. And so I was surprised that it still took as long as it did. This is a long game.
And we still had 5 rounds left. I mean, it's a 9-round game.
Maybe we are slow.
Maybe we are
incredibly slow, and I have no idea what I'm talking about. But if I was to play it again, I'm like, where would I shave off time? I don't know. I genuinely have no idea.
Well, and with that all said, and this is the battle report, not necessarily a review.
Yeah.
I think it was a fantastic experience.
It was.
It was well worth my entire Saturday.
Yes.
And we got there really early and got set up.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It was well worth my whole Saturday.
It was excellent. So
it was.
That was the battle report. Appreciate you guys watching. Skip over to the review. We'll talk a little bit more about some of the details and what we thought of the game itself.